Hey y'all, Plastic Commander here, and sorry for the brief hiatus. I've been really busy lately. You know, doing adult stuff. Anyway, we got a whale of a video for you guys today. Today we are doing the part 2 and examining my entire collection. And in this part 2, we're going to be taking a look at all of that. So today we're going to be taking a close look at everything on the Commander Quarter shelf, as well as what is in some of the ammo cases and chests that I have stored towards the bottom that's out of view for you guys to see. Now I can see it from where I'm standing, but that has nothing to do for me actually being here. That's just because I'm a small person. Anyway guys, let's jump right into the video. So without further You were supposed to say it. You were supposed to say it with me, and you didn't. You were supposed to say it with me without further ado. You ruined it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you, the viewer, ruined this moment that we were having together. And I hope you're proud of yourself for that, because I'm sure not. I'm not. So here we are, the Commander Quarter. Once again, we are going to go over everything on the shelf. So if you remember my last time, I went over the entire Commander shelf pretty much. Back then, the way it was like this section up here was like cavemen, and then like World War II, Civil War, space, so on. Everything was themed, and I really liked that. But I started building up so much memorabilia to just go to the shelf that the shelf just kind of became a mess over time. So I completely redid it about 8 months ago, and I really like how it turned out. But before we take a look at the shelf and shelves here, we are going to flip over and look at these 6 ammo containers. So these are really nice. You can get these at Walmart for about $5 each, and I really like them. They're real good for storage. And you might be thinking, Clay, what do you keep in these? Well, it's certainly not ammo. So I have them all closed, but there's Army Men on the floor. These are, I was going through and processing some Army Men I just got, and they kind of got all over the floor, so ignore that. It's like a child's bedroom in here, if I'm being honest. But first, we have some greens. So, and actually, I lined these up to where I don't know which one is which. So, I have stickers on all of them too, so I'll zoom in on that. Little military stickers I got off of Temu. But anyway, the first one right here is a bunch of different Mars figures. So I'm going to review a lot of these sets in the future. We got a Mars D-Day Ranger right over here. We got just a generic Airfix clone Timmy guy right there. There's a few Timmy and clones and knockoffs mixed in these. Right here we got a Mars Paratrooper. Most of these are Mars and Armies in plastic. And Airfix, so got some vintage Airfix thrown in here as well. I bought about 40 vintage green Airfix figures that were British Commandos, British soldiers, American soldiers. I also have some newer ones. This is one of the new. In fact, just a perspective real quick, if I can, there you are. So one of the ways with the Airfix, the way you can tell it's vintage is if it's this much more flexible soft PVC plastic, as opposed to this kind of like hard and I want to say candy-like kind of plastic here in this darker olive drab. And that's for all Airfix figures. They're all made with that kind of harder plastic. So another Mars Paratrooper, and that's a good way to tell whether or not they are new or old, because Airfix actually went and remade a bunch of their figures from back in the 70s and the 80s. So keep your eye open for those, because those are really cool. But also, I have some clones of Airfix paratroopers in here. There was a company that made clones of Airfix figures. Also got some of the new Mars Marines. So really cool. But yeah, I actually bought them all. They were on Amazon a few years ago, and they got taken off. So that's that one right here. Germans. So, got a lot of stuff in here. Have a bunch of Matchbox and Airfix clones. Of course, the Battle Bucket that we reviewed not too long ago, as well as some Armies in Plastic. Pretty much just a bunch of different German soldiers, as well as some classic toy soldiers. So, of course, this is a 3-inch figure of the 6-inch Marks German soldier with the rifle. If you have that one set that was made by classic toy soldiers, you'll recognize these, as well as some BMC. And I'm going to do a review on the BMC D-Day figures because they are so freaking ridiculous, and a lot of people don't like them, including me. But of course, another Airfix clone right here. But let's move on over to the next one. We also got some Black Timmy figures, and yeah, mostly just Germans. These right here that I have, these are made by Classic Toy Soldiers. They're very cheap. They sell a bag that's basically just Airfix, Marks, and Matchbox clones. It's like a mix, and they sell them in tan and gray, and I highly recommend picking them up. They're only like 12 bucks a bag, and they come in bags of like 35, so definitely next time you're shopping, if you need something to kind of get you to the free shipping level, go ahead and pick some of those up because they're really cool. So up next, some tans, or I should say some browns. So I keep a lot of my nicer brown figures in this one. Right here we have a NVA soldier Mars, Commonwealth British soldier made by Airfix. This is another one of the newer figures. Airfix actually made this set in the lighter green color we saw that British Commando in, and they redid it in this brown color, which I really like my brown soldiers. Another NVA. Got a lot of Mars mixed in here. Mars, British, Commonwealth soldiers. So really, really cool. I have right here, this is a reproduction Marks Fritsch soldiers. So if you know anything about Marks, you know that the Fritsch soldiers, like the original ones, are super hard to come by. They're probably some of the rarest Marks soldiers that you can come across. I wouldn't necessarily say figure, but definitely soldier. Sometimes I see lots on eBay of like 5 of them go for like $100. It's ridiculous. We got some more Airfix. This is an Airfix clone of a Russian soldier, so really, really cool. Another Marks Fritsch soldier, Armies in Plastic British. I would really like to get my hands on some Armies in Plastic American Doughboys. I had some as a kid. They were some of the only really nice Army men I had, and of course I don't have them anymore, just like all my other old Army men from back in the day. But let's move along in here. I'm sitting on the ground now to make this a little easier on the back. The Plastic Commander's getting up there in age. But we got some blue figures. So, of course, we got a ton of Armies in Plastic in here. Some French soldiers, some Portuguese soldiers, and some more Airfix. I have the German paratroopers, and in here I have the regular German soldiers. We'll probably come across one here soon. In fact, there's one right here. So you just want to pop these in your mouth really bad. They kind of feel like they have the same texture as Jolly Ranchers. So they just look like they'd be like this sweet candy, but they're not. So, but anyway, I don't just have those in there. I very recently acquired some Mars German Naval Infantry, as well as some Luftwaffe infantry figures. Both of those sets come in this light blue, so definitely pick those up together if you decide to get them. Here's another one right here. I absolutely love this blue color, and they make a great addition to your blue army. On top of that, in here I have some army women. Of course, I have these in every color that they've made, other than, I think, purple and yellow. So I need to rectify that here soon. But here's another French soldier. So lots of cool stuff in here. I absolutely love this Armies in Plastic British soldier, or I guess Portuguese soldier since he's blue. walking with the Lewis gun. This is like one of my favorite poses they made, or molds they made. And of course I have some light blue Timmy, and there's an officer. So really, really cool. Moving right along here, looks like we got my jungle kind of figures. So we have the Mars, Vietnam, American soldiers. I have the Marines, the Army, and the Special Forces in here. So really, really cool. I made those reviews a while back, so definitely go and rewatch those. And I also have some... I have a couple of these Australian Airfix soldiers that are vintage. So these are really hard to come by. They're really rare. Airfix has not redone them yet, like everything else, but they have redone the Gurkha soldiers, which I have a few of in this case as well. So really, really cool. Mostly, yeah. There's a few Timmy figures, vintage, thrown in here, but yeah, it's mostly the Vietnam and a piece of tape. That's interesting. Oh, I also have the Arvin soldiers made by Mars. Most of these are Mars, Airfix, and Armies in Plastic. I keep them separated from everything else in the tubs just because they just go well together and they're a little bit more high dollar, so I like to just keep them in a place where I know they're going to be, if you know what I'm saying, like, because they're a decent amount of money. I don't want to have anything happen to them or lose them or anything. But moving along out of here, finally we have a tan bucket, and in here I got a lot of really cool stuff. This is mostly modern soldiers, so right here you can see I have some Sunny Days Entertainment figures, the knockoffs and the actual Sunny Days figures, but I also have some Ukrainian defenders. So I did a review on this set. This was one of the last reviews I did recently, so definitely go watch that review if you haven't already. I really enjoy those figures, and I have, in fact, I'm considering buying another set of them because I like them so much. But yeah, guy with a javelin, and I really like this guy right here laying down. He looks like he's right out of Warzone, which I just think that's really cool. I also have some Armies in Plastic, Operation, I can't remember the, Iraqi Freedom, there we go. Yeah, I have some Armies in Plastic, modern day US soldiers. I have them in every color. They're really, really cool. Another Ukrainian defender, and back here, I have some of the Core. So the Core was a toy line by Leonard back in the 90s, 2000s, and they made action figures for years. They were sold exclusively at Walmart. It was basically just a knockoff of G.I. Joe, and in the 2010s, they started making their own army men, and they were really nice, and I have a bunch of them I managed to get as they were right about to stop doing the line. I'm pretty sure Leonard went out of business. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything Leonard branded in a long time. I definitely haven't seen the Corp in a while, so. But yeah, anyway, these are kind of like my higher dollar stuff. Not the highest dollar, because we're going to go ahead and head over to the shelf, which has a lot of stuff. So, and we're going to get down here to those two chests that are right here. We're going to look at those. And those will really be the last thing we take a decent look at here in a minute, but there's some surprises in there that's way more valuable than everything over here. So, we got a bunch of tan vehicles and one green. Lots and lots of cool stuff here. So, looking at the back, we got a vintage, without the lid, Toy Story Green Army Men thermos right up there, and a Funko Pop, the Toy Story Army Men Funko Pop back there. We got some of the games. In fact, I have pretty much all of the games except a couple of the Game Boy ones. In fact, right here I have the Freedom Pack, which has both 1 and 2, the strategy games for PC, so really, really cool. And just dotted throughout, you see back there, Vintage Marks Indian, Vintage Marks Russian Soldier. I actually bought some Plastimarks figures still in the bag recently, and I went ahead and opened them because the bag was kind of falling apart anyway. And I have some in my kitchen and some in here and some in the bathroom. But most of my bigger figures are up here too, and I'm going to do a video exclusively for them. Like this guy right here who looks like he's getting ready for his first day of school. It just cracked me up when I saw him. So, Vintage Marks Japanese soldier right there. And another one right there. But yeah, and of course I got the Battle Warriors little tube there. I need to do a review on that soon. But yeah, coming down to the next shelf. And of course I got a couple of BMC vehicles, a Alligator and a Jagged Panzer. So really, really cool. So moving on down here, and as you can see, I have a lot of, oh, knocked the night over. I have a lot of Galaxy Laser Team 6-inch figures just scattered throughout here. These were on sale not too long ago, so I went ahead and picked some up from BMC because I just really, really like them. But right over here, you may recognize Sergeant Thread and Needle. He's still on the shelf. That was made by a very good friend of mine as a gift a little over a year ago, and I absolutely love the little guy. He's a great addition to the shelf. Right here, we got a Vintage Marks Ulysses S. Grant from the Blue and Gray playset from way back in the day. And right behind him are some Desert Storm trading cards. So, during the 90s, this is proof that America will commercialize and capitalize on anything possible. We made trading cards for Operation Desert Storm. So, some food for thought right there. And I have some more back there too. I actually just bought a whole stack of those for $5. So I may open them up. I may actually do a video over those. That might be a good idea. So, Vintage Marks Donald Duck and another Wild West figure right there. Vintage Timmy guy on the back of this Panzer tank. Armies in Plastic. The one guy from Star Wars Rebels. Dead German Marks figure. And also, I have some Viet Cong Mars figures scattered throughout the table, or the shelf. I just really didn't have anything that they could go into decently, so I just went ahead and put them on the shelf. And up here, while we're thinking of Marks, I have a Marks motorcycle rider. I just got this guy for about 12 bucks, which is a really good deal. If you ever find one of these with the sidecar, they go for about $50, so always keep your eye open. But dropping down just a little bit lower, I just realized how dusty the shelf is, so I need to take a feather duster to it eventually. But I got that guy right there. I found him at an antique store, and I just thought he'd fit in, as well as that Native American gentleman towards the back corner. Got a few more games, a few more large figures in this BMC Sherman. We got an NPC German soldier and an Armies in Plastic World War I British soldier. I don't know what company makes these, and you've probably saw them up on the shelf too. I got them off of eBay, and they're really cool. They're really nicely detailed. I got them just because I found a good deal on them. But yeah, some more Desert Storm playing cards and a covered wagon. PlayStation 1, I think that's Army Mid World Wars. More Armies in Plastic. That blue guy right there, I don't know who made him, but he's really big. He's like a lot bigger than all the other guys. So, also on the shelf, I have a couple of bags. So this first one right here, see, there's some USGIs. There's some Airfix knockoffs from the 1980s. In fact, they're made by Jaru. They make a lot of dollar store Army men, so, but still, vintage is vintage, and they go for a little bit more money. But also I have some little Bighorn BMC figures still in the bag. I got these I think about a year ago now, and I've been fighting the urge to open them. I actually had some of these way back in the day, and of course I don't have them anymore, unfortunately, but it brought back a lot of memories finding that, because I remember having a couple of bags of those growing up. So that's pretty much everything on the shelf that's displayed. If we come down here, this is where all the boxes and extra storage is. So out of the way, these two metal tins are not very special. They just have a mixture of a little bit of everything. Some of the tanks that we saw up there, some generic Timmy Army men, just stuff you guys already seen before, so I'm not going to cover them, but they also have stickers on them. I love stickers, and I have a bunch. So, but right here in this Amazon box, we have my collection of blue figures. So, And of course in here, mostly Timmy, some NPC blue figures that I picked up not too long ago. But yeah, mostly Timmy, police officers, generic stuff like that. But really what I want to look at real quick are these two chests right here. But I'm going to do that last. At first, I'm just going to go through what's all down here. So, right here and right behind it, so much dust. I have some of these Air Force and battleship sets. I have 2 of those. And the ships are very nicely detailed. If you're ever wanting to do like a naval war game, it's a really, really good bucket to buy if you want like a cheap set to just do some naval wargaming, like some IRL battleship or something. In fact, I saw online a lot of people were using these specifically for that. Right in here, ignoring the zombies, I threw these zombies in here on Halloween last year. So those have been here ever since then. But yeah, zombies, skeletons, these are those Dollar General army men that I reviewed in my Halloween video, and I'm planning on trying to find some more once Dollar General gets more of their Halloween stuff out. But back here, kind of like a random mix, bunch of different stuff, a bunch of pirates. That's what it mostly is, pirates. There's one Galaxy Laser Team gentleman right there. I'll put him over to the side. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as down here is concerned. Pirates, skeletons. Over here, this one right here, that's all my knights. I showed that off in my last collection video. I don't really feel the compulsion to show it off again just because it hasn't changed at all. I have some Mark's Robin Hood figures in there, and of course some of the True Heroes knights. So, but if you're interested in seeing those, I'm not going to go ahead and open it up now. But also right here is my yellow figures, and they're kind of outgrowing their shell a little bit. It's kind of bursting at the seams, and I have some more I got to add to it. So I guess I'm just going to have to find another way to store them. But anyway, that's pretty much everything on the shelf other than these 2 chests, and we're going to look at those right now. So you know that old saying, saving the best for last? That's what I'm doing here. What if I told you combined everything in front of you, not including my mattress, is worth close to probably $1,000? Let me explain. So, in here is a mix of everything from Toy Soldiers of San Diego, Vintage Marks, and pretty much, yeah, mostly those 2 companies. So, all my Vintage Mark stuff that isn't on the shelf, as well as Classic Toy Soldiers, that's the other company that come to mind. This is pretty much my high quality stuff right here. So just coming through, there's a Vintage Marks figure, the Crazy Karate Guy. But of course, if you have the other guy who goes in there, he holds them. So another Marks right here. You can tell it's Marks because you got the Marks logo down at the bottom. But yeah, this is pretty much what everything in both of these is. And it was kind of bursting at the seams, and that's why I got the smaller chest, which I've started filling up with German soldiers. So I wanted to have a dedicated chest for German soldiers, and I want to actually do a special on German soldier army men, because if you think about it in a lot of ways, these were the first like bad guys, quote unquote, that army men had. Before the 1940s, when you bought a set of army men, usually it was like a box, and usually it was like 10 like just regular old soldiers, and that was pretty much it, and that's how toy soldiers were. But in the 50s, when Marks came around and Lido, they started making bad guys. Marks was the first to do it. They started selling Battlegrounds, and that was hugely successful. And then all the other companies like NPC, Lido, and Ideal, they started following the trend by also producing Germans and Japanese soldiers. But just going through it, you got tons of Marks, Toy Soldiers of San Diego, which I reviewed pretty much all the American sets they did. I've also reviewed a lot of these classic Toy Soldier sets as well. So, Battle of the Bulge figure. I'm pretty sure I talked about these Native American figures in my Wild West special, if I remembering correctly. Sorry, I can't speak. But yeah, that's pretty much what both of these are. Just all of my vintage, super rare, and valuable figures. That's why combined, this is probably like a good chunk of change. Maybe not $1,000 looking at it, but all of the Marks figures together definitely would probably fetch like $150 if I like took them all out. I probably have about 100 Marks figures. And then of course the Toy Soldiers of San Diego, depending on the set, they can vary between $2 and $3 a piece. I see them go for that quite often when they're sold individually. I also have some figures in here from the company Paragon, which is, to my understanding, a relatively new manufacturer that I haven't seen before. I don't think they're like new. I think they've been around for a while, but in the grand scheme of things, I haven't really seen them around until recently, so I'm not sure. It may just be that they finally got a supplier that I buy from regularly that just started selling them, and I just saw it. So if I had to guess, that would be it. But yeah, that's pretty much my entire collection in these 2 videos. This is where all of my money goes. Pretty much all of it. I kind of fell out of my other hobbies, and I've been real just big into the toy collecting for the last 2 years probably. It's really taken a hold of me, and this YouTube channel is just living proof of that.
Mission accomplished. Well done, man. Pack it up. We're going home.